Hey, my name is Noa Hope, welcome back to another YouTube video. So I hit a personal new record with my single 7 Years, which is basically a cover of the song 7 Years by Lukas Graham, and we already hit 100,000 streams after 2 months, which is incredibly insane, and I just want to say thank you. So I released the single with the singer Josh Dreon and with the label TXTRS Records. And yeah, as it gets so many streams, I just want to show you how I produced this track, and I want to break it down with you. Before I break it down and before we dive into the project file, I want to remember you, follow me on Instagram to do not miss any upcoming singles or information, and also check out my Spotify profile to do not miss my upcoming album, which gets released on the 1st of November. I'm super excited, so stay tuned, and now let's get into the project file. Alright, so I have freezed a lot of things because my CPU is already dying, but let's listen to the track a bit.
Smoking urban, drinking, burning liquor. Never rich, so we were out to make that steady figure. Once I was 11 years old, my daddy told me, go get yourself a wife or you'll be lonely. Once I was 11 years old.
Yeah, dope. So that's the single. Let's start. The biggest challenge in this production was the arrangement, because the original 7 Years has such a strange arrangement. It just consists out of the verses and refrain, so the chorus, and it repeats multiple times, up to 5-6 times. And as I can't produce a track with 6 drops, I decided to rearrange the whole song and make it my own unique arrangement, and that's what I came up with. So that's the arrangement I have chosen. Then Josh sent me this unprocessed raw vocals.
Smoking urban, drinking, burning liquor. Never rich, so we were out to make that steady figure. Once I was 11 years old.
Yeah, they sound just awesome. He's such a great singer. And I processed these vocals and now they sound like this.
Liquor, never rich, so we were out to make that steady figure. Once I was 11 years old.
Yeah, so I'll show you real quick how I process my vocals. So I have some return tracks here. This one is the reverb. I'm using a normal Pro R from FabFilter. Then I have the delay, which I'm sidechaining, so I'm adding the delay on it, which is here, the timeless 3, and a compression, and then I sidechain it and route the vocals to the return track. So the delay only comes through when there is a short break or something, so you hear the delay less when the actual vocal is playing, and just if there is a gap or something. And then I'm also automating and bypassing it when there is nothing, so when I don't need a delay, and that's how I mix my vocals usually. Of course, some compression, OTT, and some other effects, but that's the most important thing. So that's what I started with. And then I continued to find out some great chords. These are the chords, and it's actually just a piano from Analog Lab V. And I layered it with a second piano. Yeah, and there is just a bit of compression and EQing on it to make sure we don't have any subs or lows. Then I continued with some guitars. I recorded them myself because I know there was something missing, something rhythmical, and yeah, so I added a guitar and recorded this guitar. and panned it totally to the right. And yeah, of course I processed it with some EQ, compression, saturation and an amp. And then I duplicated this track and doubled the tempo, so it sounded like this. And panned it to the left, and together they sound like this. Yeah, then I recorded another guitar melody sounding like this. And a last guitar melody which I recorded twice, which I'm also using multiple times, 3 times in this whole production. And yeah, I recorded it twice, panned it left and right to get a brighter stereo sound. And it sounds like this. And as you can hear, there's a lot of reverb on it. Like I used the Valhalla Supermassive, and a bit of Portal to get some grains. Alright, so that's all the guitars and the piano together. Awesome. Then there also is the atmosphere sound, which I'm panning left and right with the auto pan effect. Some reverb and a bit of EQing, nothing special. Alright, so then we have some effects. I'll show you all the effects from the whole track because these are not that much. So we have the tambourine sound I'm always using, impact sound, of course a long sweep up in the build-up section, and a short sweep up here, downlifter again, this atmosphere sound in the drop, and in the drop the kind of a really present lead sound, where I have automated the pan section, so it starts left and gets to the right side. Alright, so let's continue with the build-up section. Of course, we need a build-up drum, a snare roll, and a raise bass. Yeah, this is a typical raise bass, nothing really special. I can show you the preset from Serum, looks like this. And I have added an EQ to get rid of the lows, of the sub lows, and added this amp sound. That's why it sounds that nasty. I'll bypass it. Now it sounds like a normal raise bass, and this amp adds some nastiness to it. You can see it here in the EQ, some high end gets added, and I'm again adding the EQ for the low end because I don't need this low end. Yeah, some reverb, and that's it. And the last thing in the build-up is the lead sound, which gets teased here. These are the MIDI notes, and yeah, I mean, I just added an EQ to get rid of the lows and some auto filtering. That's it. I can show you the preset real quick from Serum. It's this one I've chosen, and it fits perfect for what I needed. Alright, let me freeze these 2 tracks real quick. Awesome, so let's continue with the most important and exciting part, with the drop, starting with the drums. In house music, it's almost the same every time. We just have a kick, a clap. In this case, I have 2 claps because I layered them. Added some reverb to the clap and also to the claps and also some saturation. Then I have a crash underneath it. Then of course a offbeat hi-hat. Then there is this clap, these claps at the end of the first half and at the end of the second half, which are panned. Here the automation left, right, and then to the center again. And this hi-hat loop. All together. Yeah. Then I grouped all the drums, added some an EQ to get more highs. Added the K Clipper plugin, which is great to just clip it a bit, and that's the drums. Alright, so let's get to the bass. There's only 2 layers. We have the sub bass. These are the midis for the sub bass. And of course I added an EQ to get rid of the really sub lows under 20 Hz. And compression, saturation. In this case I really needed the saturation, because if I would have just used this preset, it's kind of just sub bass and I need some harmonics, so I added this saturation. I mean, I can play it, and here you can see that's the regular frequency. And here you can see how it reacts with all the saturation to it. Here it gets more harmonics. Yeah, and that's the bass sound. Also, of course, I have utility plugin to get a sidechain effect, and I'm making it manual. So every time when there is a kick, I'm lowering the volume and make a manual sidechain this way. So the drums come through better, basically. And then there is, let me freeze this again. Alright, so the second layer is also again a respace, and again with some EQing without the lows, because we already have the lows with our first layer, with our sub bass. An amp, again EQ, because of the amp we get some lower frequencies added and we don't need them, so we cut them out again. Reverb and a sidechain, and it sounds like this. With the first bass, yeah, so that's basically the bass sound. Let's continue with the leads. Okay, so I already showed you the main lead. In this case I have an auto filter at the first half of it, which is active because the vocals are still.
He told me, go get yourself.
Yeah, so CPU is dying, but I show it to you really quick. There is a auto filter automation, and at the second half of it there is the full lead sound playing. Yeah, and of course we have here again a utility plugin to sidechain it to the kick, and yeah, that's it basically. I added here, as you can see, again the wider plugin, which is the free plugin to make it more stereo, some compression, EQing, and that's it. That's my typical process. And here is a counter lead playing in the background. which of course also has the utility plugin on it to sidechain it, and an auto pan to get it to the left and to the right side automatically. So I already stereo imaged the whole track in this project file. And of course some EQing to get rid of all the lows, which I don't need. Okay, next one, guitar sound, which adds some rhythm. We want to make the frequency spectrum as bright as possible, and yeah, to fill out all the frequency ranges. So I added these chords. This is also a serum preset, and it looks like this, and it fills out all the mid frequencies. Yeah, so also again some delay, a bit of compression and reverb, and of course some EQs, because as I said, we only need the mid frequencies. Dope. So also the atmosphere sound, which is also in the intro. In this case there is also a sidechain on it. I used the compression, activated the sidechain mode, chose my kick, and then it reacts to the kick. Alright, and now the last element is the counter lead, which plays in the second half of the drop, and it sounds like this. And it consists of 3 layers. I'm really sorry, CPU is dying completely. Second one and the third one. And these counter leads are, yeah, a bit processed, nothing special. Some EQing again to get rid of the lows, compression. Also here is this auto pan on it. And that's basically all the magic for this track. It's pretty simple. These are all the elements, and then I'm just repeating, but that's all the elements I've used for this track. Then I'll just show you real quick the master chain. There is a utility plugin on it, because in the build-up sections I'm always lowering the volume about 2 decibels, so the drop hits harder. And then there is an EQ on it where I'm getting rid of all the lows under 20 Hertz. I'm using the mid-side function, so I can get rid of all frequencies under 100 Hertz with on the sides, because I want the sub bass to be mono. And yeah, I'm adding some higher frequencies. Then I'm looking for frequencies that sound harsh, and yeah, just lower the volume at these frequencies. And of course a limiter to make it a bit louder, a clipper plugin to clip it a bit, and that's it. And using the utility plugin to fade it out at the end. And then I just exported it, sent it to TXTRS Records, and they released it as it is in this project file. Yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate and write them in the comments. Maybe I'll make a video out of your questions. Yeah, if you want to know anything, just write it to me. And I hope you have learned something new, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. See you.